Hello folks, and welcome to another episode of Back to Basics Gardening, a series of videos aimed at the complete novice and total amateur gardener and someone who's just got an allotment and doesn't know what to do. So in this episode I'll be talking about raised beds, no dig and digging. So I'll crack on. Right, like I say, these videos are aimed at the total beginner. But if there's any hints and tips that I can pass on to anybody else who doesn't know these things, I'm happy to help. So in the first episode I was talking about when you first get your allotment. The best way I can describe further is by showing you an empty allotment. So I'll show you that now. So this is an empty allotment just next to my plot there, and it's been left for a year, and as you can see it's covered, but it's not too bad. It may look daunting at first, but as I was explaining on the first episode, the first thing you need to do is get it dug over and get yourself a path right down the middle, either side, and then it gives you as much growing space as you can get. And this has been left for like I say, a year. It hasn't been touched, but slow and steady wins the race. Rome wasn't built in a day and all that. So this might put lots of people off, but like I say, it's not too bad. Someone has put the membrane down, which has worked, but like the path is all the way up the middle, and then like I say, you're best off digging. I've seen a lot of people, new gardeners especially, if they've got a patch of ground like this and they trim it back, that's no good. The roots are still in the ground. No matter what you do, no matter which method you choose of going forward, it still needs to be dug to get all the roots out. Then you can concentrate on raised beds, no dig method, or whatever you like. So I'll get you back into the shed. Right, so as you could see there, that was an empty plot ready to get taken over. Now these gardens here aren't too bad. They've been here for over 100 years, so the ground is good, you know. It doesn't take long to dig over. But I've noticed a lot of new allotment sites being built on old waste ground, which is just a nightmare really. Building rubble, clay, all sorts of stuff, and that's no good. That's when you want to start thinking about other ideas. Just before I forget, if the ground is too wet, don't dig it, because it'll do more damage than good if you do go down the digging route. Like I say, you have to dig the roots out no matter what condition your garden's like, unless, like I say, it's built on a waste ground. But this soil's okay. But the general rule of thumb is, if you do stand or you are digging on wet ground, and if it sticks to the spade and it sticks to your feet, it's too wet, just stop digging. There's plenty of time. Like I say, Rome wasn't built in a day. But there is another route. I'll turn you around. Now if you do have a garden which has poor soil, clay soil and all that, there is another way. Raised beds. Now I've seen a lot of people putting pictures up of raised beds that they've made, and they're not raised beds. Raised beds were first originally thought of for people like the older generation gardeners, or people who had a bad back and what have you. So they need to be at least 2.5 to 3 foot, depending on how tall you are, you see. Like that, me herb bed there. Now that would be classed as a raised bed. It's two scaffold boards on top of each other, and that's a raised bed. And I've seen a lot of people, I'll just use this next door's garden here as an example. Now they are not raised beds, and as you can see there's more path than what there is actual growing ground. And that's a waste of growing ground. if you add up all of the paths, there's one there, one there, one there, one there, all these side bits, it all adds up. When you get a garden, especially this size, you need to make the most of the space you have to grow. And obviously paths like all over the place isn't a good idea. And like I say, they are not raised beds. To me, that is just sectioning off. That is a sectioned off area. Raised beds need to be deeper, and plus it's expensive. Now, to fill a raised bed in inverted commas, quotation marks, etc. Now this is it's fallen to bits really, this, but to fill that with compost is going to cost you quite a bit of money. And if you do your whole garden as raised beds, it'll cost you quite a bit of money. And that brings us on to the other technique. I'll spin you around again. I've noticed a few over the years, especially now, no dig method. Now that seems to be popular these days, and yet again, people don't realise properly. You know, amateur gardeners, etc., seem to have got the wrong idea. It all depends on your soil. Like I say, my soil's okay, and I wouldn't even think about going the no dig method. My soil, it would be a waste of soil if I covered it over and then started putting compost on the top, which is another expensive way of doing it. If you condition your soil every year, once you've got all the roots out, I mean, you know, I wouldn't expect anybody to get the garden dug over and root free in like a one grown season. It takes a couple of years to get absolutely weed free in the places you need to be. There's always going to be the odd place, you know, but in your beds that for growing, it'll be champion. Just keep manuring and adding fertilizer. A lot of people put green manure down. That's all good. But they don't, like I say, no dig method seems to just be popular these days, and that would be fine if you've got really bad soil. Keep doing it, but it would be expensive in my book, like to keep on doing it. I'll spin you around, but like I say, that's entirely up to you. Don't be too eager. Choose wisely. The ground is there for a reason. Raised beds need to be 2.5 foot, otherwise you're just sectioning off. I know I'll probably get slated for this video, but like I said at the start of the video, it's for the amateur gardener and the total newbie allotment here. So thanks for watching, folks. Stay tuned for the next episode where I'll be doing something else, back to basics. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking and subscribing. Stay tuned for more. Thank you. Bye now.